Love, lies, and tragedy, the story that will leave you in tears. What if the person you fell in love with wasn't who they seemed to be? Ethan, the son of a billionaire, pretends to be poor and discovers Emma, a young woman carrying the weight of life on her shoulders. Their love blooms amidst laughter, snow, and rooftop secrets, but the truth threatens to tear them apart forever. Watch this emotional, heart-wrenching story till the end, and don't forget to subscribe for more cinematic stories that will leave you in tears. Rain poured over the glass walls of Ashford Industries the night Ethan Cole decided to disappear. The city lights smeared across the windows like melting gold, and every reflection looked like another life he could have lived. Born as the only son of Richard Cole, billionaire CEO of one of New York's largest investment firms, Ethan had everything except peace. His father wanted him to inherit a world built on power and numbers. Ethan wanted to breathe. He wanted to feel life, not just live it on someone else's terms. He packed a single suitcase, left his penthouse, and walked out into the noise and rain with nothing but a few $100s and a promise to himself that he would learn what it meant to live without his name. 2 weeks later, a new intern named Ethan Gray reported to a tiny logistics office that belonged to one of Ashford's forgotten subsidiaries. The building smelled of ink and instant coffee, and no one cared who he was. For the first time, he could be anonymous. That's where he met Emma Dawson. She was 24, tired, kind, and unreasonably brave. She worked 3 jobs, one here, another at a grocery store at night, and weekend shifts at a diner, to pay her mother's medical bills. Her laughter was quiet but contagious. Her hair was always coming loose from its bun. Ethan first saw her helping the janitor lift a heavy bucket. "You don't have to do that," he said, setting down his own box. She looked over her shoulder. "If I don't, he'll throw his back out again. Then let me help." She smiled, small and cautious. "You're new here, right? Careful, we don't get hazard pay." He grinned. "Then we'll share the hazard." That was how it started. Shared coffee, small jokes, long hours that turned strangers into something softer. They discovered the rooftop garden one lunch break. It was only a rectangle of cracked concrete with a few stubborn plants, but Emma loved it. "It feels like the city forgot this place," she said. "That's why it's peaceful." He sat beside her, watching clouds scrape the tops of the buildings. "Maybe the forgotten places are the real ones." She laughed. "You sound like a writer." "Maybe I just want to be one," he said. When he asked about her dreams, she told him she used to write short stories until bills piled up. "Dreams don't pay rent," she said. "Maybe not," Ethan murmured, "but sometimes they pay in oxygen." She looked at him like he was something rare. "You talk weird, Ethan Gray." He smiled. "You listen, that's why." The days turned into weeks. She brought him homemade sandwiches. He fixed the printer she kept jamming. They learned each other's silences. He never told her that his real last name could buy the whole building. One evening, long after everyone left, Emma was still at her desk, typing under a flickering light. Ethan brought 2 coffees. "You're still here. Deadlines don't wait," she said. "Neither should you." She laughed. "You always say things like that. Maybe I just like seeing you smile." She froze for half a second, then whispered, "You don't mean that." "I do." And he did. Winter came. The office planned a small party, cheap decorations and instant cocoa. Emma wore a borrowed navy dress, and Ethan thought she looked like warmth made human. They danced badly. She spilled her drink, he stepped on her toes, and both laughed until people turned to stare. Walking home afterward through the snow, they stopped at her street corner. "Good night, Ethan," she said. He wanted to tell her everything, who he was, what he'd run from, but instead he said, "Good night, Emma," and she kissed his cheek before disappearing into the falling snow. For a moment he thought maybe love could hide a lie. But secrets are patient. A month later, word spread that the CEO himself was coming to inspect their branch. The morning Richard Cole's black cars pulled up, Ethan's stomach turned to ice. He slipped into the storage room as his father strode through the office, barking questions about productivity. Emma, unaware, spoke up to defend her coworkers. "Sir, people here work overtime without complaining," she said. Richard's gaze was sharp. "And yet mediocrity remains the standard." Ethan nearly burst from the room. He wanted to tell his father that the girl standing there had more dignity than all his boardrooms combined. That evening Emma found him on the rooftop, pale and quiet. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she said. "Maybe I did. You wanna talk about it?" He shook his head. "Not tonight." She sat beside him anyway. After a while he said, "If I told you I wasn't who you think I am, would you hate me? Are you secretly aspire something?" She teased. "Something like that. Then I'd still talk to you," she said softly. "You're a good person, Ethan." He wanted so badly to believe her. The next week his secret collapsed. Richard's investigators traced him to the office. Two suited men appeared during a staff meeting. Ethan Gray. Every head turned. Emma frowned. "What's going on?" He stood, forcing a smile. "Just something I have to handle." The men escorted him outside where the limousine waited. Richard stepped out, furious. "What have you done?" "I lived," Ethan said. "You abandoned your responsibilities. You humiliated this family. I wanted to know who I was without your money." Emma ran out in time to hear that. She stared between them, confusion dawning into disbelief. "Your family." He tried to speak. "Emma, please. You lied to me," she said, voice breaking. Was this all some kind of experiment? No, it was the only thing that ever felt real. Her eyes filled. "Then why does it feel like everything was fake?" Snow began to fall. She turned and walked away while he stood helpless under the weight of everything he'd tried to escape. Back at the penthouse, his father lectured him until midnight. Ethan stared out at the same city lights he once loved and realized they looked colder than ever. Days passed. Emma ignored his calls and letters. Then, weeks later, a small envelope arrived, a photograph of them on the rooftop, smiling. On the back she had written, "Some people only find freedom by walking away. Don't come looking for me." He tried anyway. Spring found her again. He spotted her through a cafe window, serving coffee. She looked thinner but still carried that quiet light inside her. He walked in. She froze. "Ethan." He nodded. "I know I wasn't supposed to, but I needed to see you." She took a breath. "I've made peace with it. You belong in that world, Ethan." "I never did." "Then I'll leave it," he said. "You can't run from who you are." "Then I'll change who I am." Her hands trembled as she poured a cup. "Don't make promises to a girl who can't keep them." "What does that mean?" Her smile was tired. "I'm sick. The doctors found something last winter. I couldn't afford the treatment." He felt the room tilt. "Emma, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to see me like this. You already gave me more happiness than I thought I'd ever have. Then let me help," he begged. "I'll pay for everything." "No, that's not why I told you." She reached across the counter and touched his hand. "I just needed you to know I forgave you." Tears blurred his vision. "I won't lose you. You already lost the lie," she whispered. "Maybe you'll keep the love." Ethan spent the night pacing the streets near Emma's apartment. The news of her illness had hit him like a storm he could never outrun. His chest felt tight, every heartbeat screaming regret. He had thought love was simple when it was laughter and shared sandwiches. Now he realized that love was heavy, terrifying, and filled with impossible choices. The next morning, he arrived at the hospital, his hair damp with rain and his coat dusted with snow. "I'm here for Emma Dawson," he said to the receptionist, voice trembling. "Please, just let me see her." After a tense moment, he was led to her room. Machines and tubes cradled her fragile body. Her eyes fluttered open. "Ethan." He grabbed her hand. "I'm here. I'm not leaving you. You don't get to hide from me," he said fiercely. "Not now. Not ever." For a week, he never left her side, speaking softly, recounting their shared moments, promising he would never stop loving her. Yet life proved merciless. One evening, her condition worsened. Ethan held her trembling hands. "Emma, stay with me. You can't leave me," he begged. She whispered, "Ethan, I'm not afraid. I forgive you, for everything." And then she was gone. The days after were a blur. Ethan returned to Ashford Industries, but every corner reminded him of what he had lost. The city glittered, indifferent. Richard Cole tried to draw him back into the empire, but Ethan could not care. He spent time honoring Emma's memory, helping others, creating opportunities for those like her. On the anniversary of her death, he placed a bouquet on the rooftop garden, kneeling, whispering, "I failed you, Emma. But I'll live my life for you." I'll honor you. I'll make sure the world remembers that someone like you existed, and that love, even brief, is eternal." He never stopped loving her. And every day, in quiet moments or under city lights, he whispered her name, letting the world know that though tragedy had taken her, her spirit remained, etched forever in his heart. For those watching, listening, and feeling, life is fragile. Love is rare. Treasure it while you can, and forgive yourself for the times you fail. If this story touched you, make sure to subscribe for more cinematic, heart-wrenching tales that remind us what it means to truly feel. Because in a world full of fleeting moments, love and loss are what make us human. Ethan lost the love of his life, but her memory shaped him forever. A story of love, lies, and heartbreak that reminds us how fragile life is and how precious true love can be. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional tales that touch the heart and stay with you long after the video ends.